red lights though will appear on. This will be the start of our race. Jacob Stevenson from pole position. Red lights on, red lights off. Not much of a hold once it actually got underway. A great start for Jacob Stevenson. Noah Gilray you would expect to drop back in the early stages of this one, and Josh Froggatt launching himself into second place. So Stevenson from Froggatt. Linsdale looks like slotted himself into third place. So Oliver not losing any ground at the start of this twin race. Down through Hollywood we head now though, through the curves. Well, complete start for the entire field. What more can you really ask for? Keep your eye on Rossi Banham if you're watching track side. Watch the bright yellow machine making his way up through the order. The top two already beginning to break away. Rossi Banham, it looks like he's managed to get himself towards that top 10 spot, if not actually already inside the top 10 positions. It won't be until the end of the first lap of action that we will have the official split times to bring you. We have them on the opening lap, and then we'll have to get a further lap to be able to see what the flying lap and what the actual pace is going to look like. So it's much trickier this morning for the field. Some riders chose to gamble for the dry, some riders chose for wet, some riders chose for some inters. But Rossi Banham already carving his way towards the top 5, in the top 5 now, past wherever Aldi goes and towards Oliver Linsdale. So for P4 already for Rossi Banham. What an incredible first lap of action it has been for himself. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the rest of the next gen sport bikes and the standard twins once we can see the finishing and position order. I can tell you though, Blake Didwell as things stand does sit ahead of Callum Brent. That will be enough for Didwell to become champion if the checker flag was to come out. Over the line though, 1.3 seconds separates Stevenson. Froggatt sitting in P2, and Banham, well you can just see at the time between P plus 21 positions made up on that opening lap. What more can you really ask for? Oliver Linsdale only losing one position. That was, of course, to Banham. However, Alden rounds out our top 5 currently is Noah Gilray, still remaining P1 in the standard twin class. However, Didwell is well and truly catching up and on his tail, and Didwell will soon be under some pressure himself actually from Phillips behind. Charles Mancuso sits in the final spot inside the next gen sport bike category, so P13 overall for her, while Lisa Benny sits P4 in class and P19 overall. That will still be enough though to claim the next gen sport bike championship. Of course, came into this race level on points. On countback however, just needs to score or doesn't need to lose 24 points, and she will be declared champion. And the first of our next gen sport bike champions actually. It's been a class which has constantly grown throughout the season, and a class which has proved that consistency is key in motorsport. Stevenson out round the final corner already. A nice big gap has formed between Froggatt and behind. Looking at the times, 1:36 from Stevenson, 1:38 from Josh Froggatt. Super easy to spot on track side, with of course the number 1 on the front of Froggatt's machine. Colin now, the 118 Aprilia slots himself inside top 5. There is an issue as well for the number 30's transponder, so hopefully that's not going to cause too much bother, and if it does, it's certainly going to keep TSL very, very busy downstairs from the commentary box. So Scott Page causing a little bit of havoc there with his transponder, not wanting to play ball in this race free. Now we will have a retirement. This is perhaps going to be lower, and it is indeed. So 761 into the pit lane they will go. That will be the end to their hopes. But whoever Oswell P6, we know he does have potential podium pace. He's been constantly fighting within that top 5 all season long. The top 3 though pretty spaced out. However, Rossi Banham last time round was running quicker times than what Josh Froggatt was in second, so expect those two to close up together on circuit, as has Oliver Linsdale has closed up on circuit. So the battle for P4 and P5 overall beginning to heat up, of course, though. More importantly, that's the battle for second and third for the Super Twin class. Weatherald now exit the final corner himself. We'd be hoping that the number 16 and the number 118 continue to scrap away. That's going to play massively into his hands. Of course, now Gilray does indeed run P1 Sire Twins. Meanwhile, Didwell is third. So Didwell has just dropped behind Phillips in the standard twin category, but that's not going to affect him too much because Cal Brenn's been a tough weekend for him. He continues from P4 in category. So it seems like after this race, after this next 6 laps, we should have a good picture, if not a confirmed picture, of our champions for 2025, the standard Super Twins and the next gen sport bikes. This means, well, later on, it should be blazing. It should be a lot of fun out on the circuit, everyone going out. It does look like actually we have a retirement, so one of the riders just pulling him over by the penultimate corner, and that will be that for their race 3. Rossi Bandham already looking all over the back wheel of Josh Froggatt, so Vanessa is looking that way over at the Melbourne Hairpin loop. He wasn't able to make it work, however, and he's going to have to make it wait at least another corner for him to make that lunge. A massive look behind though for Josh Froggatt, just having a little glance, checking to see how far back, checking to see where and who his competition is. You are able to hear the machines from that distance. Didwell though has managed to get ahead of the number 91. Phillips does drop back, but how long? Not too long is the answer, because he does respond to the Melbourne Hairpin look. Charles Marcuso as well, pitching a few positions a few laps ago. Not being in class, however, P11 she does run overall. The R7 will exit towards turn 1. Arnold involved in this scrap for the second wave of riders. Benny and Hopkins continue their drill throughout the weekend. Of course, different classes, but it's still a good battle to watch out on track. Ball and Brian also their fight. Good clean race so far. It seems like that was 22 that was aimed in his race over at the Melbourne Hairpin loop. But whatever the case, hopefully find the problem, find the solution ahead of Saturday, running the standard twin, super twins and the next gen sport bikes on track, give or take 4:30, 25 this evening, so still an hour or so, an hour and a half before they are back on track. Looking forward to inviting them back on this brilliant Donington Park circuit. Of course, I'm sure it's been a tough day for some of the riders, not only with the hotter conditions, but it's also the fact that with the slightly delayed break, or slightly early break, shall we say, it's been an intense afternoon for them out on track. So number 30 now crosses the line, that being Cage, of course. A transponder issue for him, but the T-Cell girls, but Sarah's just right on the timings, making sure that he is still going to be classified in the results and still classified on our timing screens. Cal Bren in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He just managed to extend his gap to wall behind, and well, since then that gap's stretched to 1.2 seconds. So Ren, well, he's got a little bit of work to do, he's got a little bit of ground to pick up before he wants to see his bike ahead. That being now, he's managed just drop behind Hopkins in this one. Cox also making him a few positions up with the 12 for them, as Ian also picked up a few places. Now entering P9, now entering single figures range. Over the line, Stevenson, Banham come 6.6 seconds. Banham, after getting ahead of Josh Froggatt, he was just able to stretch that 100 nice and clean. We know how good rider he can be. Of course, he was racing in the Junior Superstock Championship a few years ago. Sadly, the championship being no more. As over Linsdale, also over the line he comes as we wait for Jim Weberald and for Liam Kirk. So Liam Kirk now on that Aprilia, one of those popular bikes to pick for this category. And well, for Liam Kirk and for the Aprilia, what basically just comes out as a race bike. It is the closest thing you get anyway to a standard twin bike out of the box. The R7 usually has to do a little bit more to it, but in the hands of the likes of Stevenson, it's still proven to be very, very competitive. Big group of riders now come through. Some of Paddock, I'm sure, will begin a half a pack up anyway. Some of the riders like to get things nice and packed up, nice to be paired. So once their final race is done, they can essentially just load everything in the van or the truck and head home. Luckily, a lot of the Paddock Donington Park would be too much of a drive for them. Paige also now, I was going to say dropping down the order, but see, because obviously we have a transponder issue for him. Weberald, consistent year, not many mistakes we've seen made at all throughout 2025, and you have to give it to him. Impressive stuff. We're on the penultimate lap of action here. Well, actually, Stevenson already making his way towards Coppins on what will be 1.5 laps to go for him. So impressive stuff. Get more. Should be another one to add to his tally in 2025. From start to finish, he has been simply sensational. Heading into the chicane, Cal Brem will be the riders that he'll be facing to lap first. So Wall and Cal Brem. Of course, already through on some, and actually it looks like number 30 of Page will be retiring. So that wasn't there, it was coming into the pit lane there, and it was indeed. So that Aprilia will enter the pits, and that will be the end of things for them. Stevenson heads on to the final lap. Banham, now Froggatt, break the beam. John Coleman, just a few moments of time, 118, a little bit more of a gap back to him, but nonetheless it's been an incredible performance. You can't take anything away from Jacob Stevenson. We could have seen perhaps a sensational battle between himself and Rossi Banham. Sadly, we'll never know here today, but we did see earlier on in the year when we came to Donington Park back in June. Seems like enjoying a wild card here. Shaking up the order as always. So with just half a lap left to complete, Stevenson is going to be more points to his tally here in the next gen sport bike class. Super impressive result, super impressive shot. He comes across the line. It's time to become the winner of race 3, the winner of not only the next gen sport bikes but also race 19 of the day. It goes the way of Stevenson. Rossi Banham does take second place in class and overall, with Josh Froggatt claiming the Super Twin victory and P3 overall. We wait for the next group of riders. It should be John Coleman, Linsdale and Weberald. Spinning already with line P4 for her. Already across the line P7, we'll wait for Didwell yet to cross the line. The group of riders though is indeed coming. So Kirk over the line on number 60 and the position taken for him. Ian Tune of course will be next, and then after that group of 3 riders we will have Blake Didwell's group. Into the braking zone for the final time. It does look like that will be Blake Didwell who crosses the line. It's going to be second position. The win of the standard class does go the way of Noah Gilroy, but second position in class. Didwell getting 20 points. Just one race remaining. That will be the standard twins, also nice and sewed up. That will be the end of things for him. Blake Didwell after that when he came into this weekend with a 9-point advantage.